Well, a little earlier I shared with you about my story and some of the things that I've gone through, and I talked about how valuable each of us are in our own right, not because of our positions or our possessions or the power we have, but just because we are us. We have value. We're beautiful. Each and every one of us. Well, now I want to talk to you about some practical things that can help you to move into that purpose. I heard some of the panelists talking about how they found their purpose, the different ways that they had their aha moments, I think that's what was said. And so we're going to talk about some of the things that you can do. Now, there's so many different things, so this is not covering everything, of course. We don't have enough time. But I just want to give you something to take home with you that will help you to continue to walk towards your purpose, okay? Now, I shared with you about my mother, Sandra, right? Well, she played such a significant role in my success. Without her, I would not have been able to accomplish all that I have. And the thing about it is that she got pregnant with me at an early age. So she wasn't able to do all the things that she wanted to do in her life. Her dreams had to be put on hold for a little bit because of her circumstances. But that did not stop her from pursuing her dream. She had a delay, yes, but she still figured out a way to take care of me and to pursue her passion, her dreams. And she was growing up in an environment where she was told to aspire to be a housekeeper. Her family told her that if she found a well-to-do white family, then she would be set. But she didn't want to do that. She said, no, I don't want to clean people's houses for the rest of my life like her mother had done. She said, no, I want to work behind a desk. I want to have an office. I want to have a door that I can close. She had dreams about things that people around her weren't even thinking about. And they looked at her and they thought she was crazy. They thought she might have thought too highly of herself. Who does she think she is? An office, a desk, please. So she had to wrestle with that. But she was still able to pursue that dream because she did not let anyone, even those people close to her, hold her back. She took night classes, and she would drag me along with her. We would take the bus across town, and I would sit in the back of the class with a coloring book until she was finished. And then we'd take the bus back over to home. But she didn't give up. And she instilled in me the idea that success could actually come to me. She cultivated success by encouraging me to never give up. She encouraged me to pursue my dreams no matter how crazy they were. And let me tell you, I had some crazy, crazy dreams. Crazy dreams. And she would tell me that if you fail, dust yourself off, get back up, start all over again. And she would tell me that you have to crawl before you walk. When I would get discouraged, she'd say, Kim, you have to crawl before you walk. Take your time, baby, but you can do it. Now, some of you here may not have had a mother like I was fortunate enough to have, but that should not keep you from being that type of mother to your own children. Many times we just raise our kids the way we were raised, but some of us were raised in unhealthy environments. And a lot of times what we do is we pass down what we've learned from our parents onto our children, and we treat them the same way that we've been treated. But you have a power to end that cycle, and it's all in the choices that you make. You have a choice to have a positively powerful influence in the lives of each and every one of your children. And you know what? That will affect your children's children and their children and so on, generations to come. You might say, you know what, that sounds like a good idea, Kim, but how am I supposed to do that? How do I do that? Well, as I said before, there's a lot of things that you can do, but I'm going to give you some practical steps to get you started or to help you continue to walk towards your purpose. I'm going to use an acrostic FACE, F-A-C-E. If you're taking notes, you can write F-A-C-E vertically down your page. Leave some space just in case I say something that you want to write down. And if you're not taking notes, you can go ahead and just make a mental note of it. Face. The F in face is for forgive. Forgive. Now, I know somebody out there saying, why in the world is that a step we need to take? Well, forgiving is important to our being able to walk in our purpose. When we don't forgive people who have wronged us and who have hurt us, we get stuck emotionally in this place, and it prevents us from being all that we were made to be. So we need to forgive. When I travel around and I talk about the importance of forgiving the people who have wronged us, the people who have hurt us, offended us, a lot of people say, you know what, I don't want to forgive them. Because if I forgive them, then that means they're getting away with it. So what we do is we choose not to forgive so that we can punish other people. We may even tell them to their face, you know what, I will never forgive you for what you've done to me. That's a death sentence. Not a death sentence for that person that you won't forgive, but it's a death sentence for you. Not forgiving somebody is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. By not forgiving someone, you're continuing to give him or her control over your life. When you think about that person, what happens? You get angry again. You start to lose focus at work. You can't sleep at night. You're out with your friends. You're having a good time, and someone brings up that person's name. All of a sudden, you're not having fun anymore. It's ruined your whole night. And don't let the person walk in the room. It affects you. It affects you, doesn't it? And you know what? That person may not have given you a second thought. They might not be thinking about you. Some of them may not even understand that they have hurt you. Others of them will swear up and down that they didn't do anything wrong. But that's their issue, not yours. So when that's going on, who's being affected by you not forgiving them? You are. Exactly. When we choose to forgive, you no longer allow that other person to have control over your life. You cut the chains. They no longer are able to control you at the mere mention of their name, at the mere sight of them walking across the room, at the mere thought of them. Forgiveness is not necessarily for that other person. It's for you. It's so that you can be set free from the bondage that keeps you from being all that you were created to be. Remember, as I'm talking about forgiveness, keep this in mind. Forgiving someone does not mean that you allow them to continue to hurt you, okay? I need to say that again. Forgiving someone does not mean that you continue to allow them to hurt you or your children. We are to set healthy boundaries, okay? And that's all right. You can forgive somebody and tell them, you know what? I'm sorry, but you can't come in my house anymore. Or I'm sorry, you can't be around my children. Or I'm sorry, you can't call me. I need to end this relationship. You can still forgive and do those things and have those healthy boundaries. And as you forgive others, make sure you teach your children how to forgive. I know I grew up and I never heard the word forgiveness. It was always payback is I won't say the word. But you know what I'm saying. That's what so somebody did something to me, I was like, all right, payback. I got you. And so I spent the rest of my life trying to pay them back for something they did. They were controlling me. But when we release that, we say, you know what? I give up my right to choke you. I give up my right to beat you up. I'm going to walk away and clear my mind of that. You will not have control over me. So we need to forgive. A, accept yourself as who you are. We talked a little bit about this earlier. When we don't accept our unique qualities, no one else will accept them either. So what your interests are different from everybody else? So what you're a little bit unusual? So what nobody else in your neighborhood has ever done this before? Or your family? That's okay. You can still be you. We need to stop chasing other people's dreams. Stop chasing those dreams that our culture sets for us. We need to stop being like Patty and Susie and start being the best us we can be. You need to be the best you can be, because there is nobody out there who can be better at it than you. And yeah, it's going to be different for everybody else. It's going to be different for every one of us. And I have to say this, as women, we have a tendency to tear each other down instead of support each other. But we need each other. We need to stop making fun of other people's dreams. We need to stop looking at people up and down because who does she think she is? How dare she say she's going to school? How dare she say she's going to be a what? No. Nobody in our family has ever done that. Why does she think she can? Because she can. What if I didn't embrace my unique gymnastics talents? What if I listened to those people who told me that I was wasting my time because gymnastics was a white girl sport? Now, this was back in the 70s. What if I just gave up and said, okay, I didn't know that's not something that we do? I would have missed out on traveling around the world. I would have missed out on all the opportunities that have come as a result of that. Don't let anyone steal your dream. I don't care how crazy it is, how crazy it sounds, if it looks impossible, and especially if it's never been done before, perhaps it's just for you to do, not somebody else. When you accept yourself, you will also be able to accept your children's uniqueness. And you'll stop wondering why your son or your daughter can't be like little Bobby down the street. Because he or she is not little Bobby down the street. He or she is your child. And so when you are able to embrace who you are and say, you know what, I like myself. I like my gifts and my talents and my passions, and I'm going to pursue that. Then it frees you up to embrace your child's uniqueness. Instead of making that child try to fit in this hole when he's a square and the hole is round, you will say, you know what, baby? Come here, let me chisel this hole so you can fit into that. Because this is going to be your personalized place. So, as you accept yourself for who you are, accept your child for who they are, you will begin to see things that will amaze you. Can you imagine all that is locked up inside of your child, just waiting for somebody to cultivate it? It's like a plant. They're waiting for someone to pour some water on it, to put some fertilizer on it, so that they can grow and become all that they were created to be. And some of your children have some great things in store for them, but you don't want to be the one to put that fire out. You want to be the one to nurture that, to help that grow. You want to be the one who says, I know you can do it, baby. You might be the only one, but you want to be the one. For me, my mother was the one. Anything I said I wanted to do, she said, okay, you can do that, baby. And maybe in her heart, maybe she knew that, you know what, that's a little bit much. I don't think she can really do that. But she never told me. So she gave me permission to try things that I wanted to try. She gave me permission to fail. And then she would encourage me to get back up. Try it again. You got to crawl before you walk. C, create a safe home. Create a safe environment. for you and your children. Home should be a place where you and your child go to get away from the brutal world. When you come home after a long day's work, or they come home after school, you want to be able to find peace on the other side of that door, don't you? You don't want to come home to chaos. I could have stayed at work and had chaos, but you want your home. I don't care how big your home is, how small it is. You want to walk through those doors and say, peace. Your home should not be a place just for physical safety, but emotional safety. It is a place where you dream out loud and you don't have to be judged or condemned. It's a place where you can be yourself and not have fear of being rejected. It's a place where your children can come home and just be creative and be themselves and thrive. There is affirmation in a safe home. Affirm your children when they do something good. A lot of times, and I've been guilty of this, you only say something when they do something wrong, right? Why can't you put your pants in the hamper, okay? Can you clean up after yourself? I have to do everything. So we say the negative things quickly. They come out, they roll off the tongue. But when they do something positive, we need to acknowledge that. Because when we acknowledge when our children do something positive, they want to do something else positive. They want to do more, because there is nothing greater than to hear your mother say thank you and give you praise for doing something well. To hear you say, you know what, baby, thank you for clearing your plate off the table. That is really helpful to me. I appreciate that. Tomorrow, he's like, ooh, I wonder if Mama's going to notice I cleaned the plate off. Not only that, I'm going to take her plate. They want to please us. And when we show them that praise and affirmation when they do those good things, it makes them want to do more. A safe place. Your children can be themselves. You don't want them to feel like they have to perform in order to earn your love. You don't want them to be like me and think that the only way you can earn your father's love is to roll joints for him and his friends. You want them to know that there is nothing they can do that will cause you to stop loving them. Unconditional love is key in providing a safe place. Create a safe place where your children can be vulnerable, transparent, where they can just come and just be open and honest with you. They need to be in a place where they know that they're loved, welcomed, and wanted. E, enter your purpose. This is where we take time to dream again, like you used to when you were little. Encourage your children to dream. Nobody's going to do it for you. You're going to have to do it on your own. When doors open, you have to walk through them. You can't stand there and look at it. Sometimes we are afraid and we stand there. Go ahead, step out and enter your purpose. In order to enter your purpose, you have to have dream, initiative, and faith. I know it's hard to keep dreaming when nothing seems to go right. I know it's hard to keep dreaming when people are shooting you down, when nobody believes in you. I know it's hard to keep dreaming when you have a lot of bills to pay and you're lonely and you feel like you don't even know what step to take next. But I stand here and I beg you, please don't stop dreaming. The community suffers when you don't dream. Your family suffers when you don't dream. The world suffers when you don't dream. You know what? There's some things that maybe only you can do. And if you're not doing it, then you miss out on being fulfilled. And everybody else misses out on what you have to offer. Your children need you. The world needs you. And until you start believing that, you're going to always live a mediocre life. You have to understand that your value in the world cannot be matched. Also, when you dream, it does something special to you. You start to stand a little taller. You start to speak more confidently, carry yourself in a different way, and all of a sudden people start respecting you. And then when you start dreaming again, your children change. All of a sudden they have permission to get good grades in school, even when kids are making fun of them, calling them a nerd. They have permission to set goals and dreams for themselves. They have permission to succeed when you start dreaming again and teach them to dream with you. Next, take the initiative. You don't want someone to have to do it for you. You want to do it and make the first move. And you say, what if we take the initiative and we fail? Well, if we fail, we take responsibility for our actions, learn from our mistakes, get up, and try it again. Listen to this. Sidney Poitier, after his first audition, he was told by the casting director, why don't you stop wasting people's time and go be a dishwasher or something? Sidney Poitier. He vowed to show him that he could make it, going on to win an Oscar and become one of the most well-regarded actors in the business. Thomas Edison. In his early years, teachers told Edison that he was too stupid to learn anything. His teachers. Work was no better for him. He was fired from not one, but 2 jobs for not being productive enough. Even as an inventor, Edison made 1,000 unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb. Of course, all those unsuccessful attempts finally resulted in a design that worked. Walt Disney. Today, Disney takes in billions from merchandise, movies, theme parks around the world. But Walt Disney himself had a bit of a rough start. He was fired by a newspaper editor because, quote, he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. This is Walt Disney now. After that, Disney started a number of businesses that didn't last too long and ended up with bankruptcy and failure. He kept plugging along, however, and eventually found a recipe for success that worked. Michael Jordan has often been lauded as the best basketball player of all times, barring Mr. Morning. As some of you may know, he was actually cut from his high school team. But he didn't let that stop him from playing the game. And he has stated, quote, I have missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I have lost almost 300 games. On 26 occasions, I have been entrusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Take the initiative. And then there's faith. It's time for us to start believing again. There'll be times when you'll have to make decisions and you won't know all the answers ahead of time. My mother, when she decided to sacrifice in order to provide a way for me to do gymnastics, she didn't know that I would go on to get a scholarship to one of the top academic and athletic universities in the country. She saw my desire and talent, and because we didn't have a car, by faith, she moved us to an apartment that was only a few yards from the gym so that I could walk to practice. Clean that 20,000 square foot gym because she believed that there was something special in me. So she did everything she could to keep my dream alive. And she also believed that there was something special about her. She worked hard and she set goals for herself. In spite of the little oops me that happened in her life, she continued to set goals. And she did what she needed to do until she was able to do what she wanted to do. She moved from associate to supervisor, from supervisor to manager, from manager to assistant vice president, and from assistant vice president to vice president of a company. There, she had her own desk, her own office, and a door she could close. Give faith a chance. It's time for you to survive and thrive in this world. Forgive those who have wounded you. Accept yourself for who you are. Create a safe place for you and your children. Enter into your purpose. But we can't do it alone. There are 3 different types of people you need to have in your lives in order to do that. Because we need each other, ladies. We are community. First, you need a peer to walk side by side with you. This is someone who is not fazed by you, not impressed by you, but they will speak the truth to you in love, and they will walk with you. They believe in your dreams like you do. They want you to succeed almost as much as you want to succeed. So find a peer, someone who can walk with you. It may be a lady in this room. Next, you need a mentor, someone who has been there, done that. She has experienced things. She has a wealth of knowledge to share with you, to help you on your way to your purpose. Now, for instance, if you have to go on a job interview, your mentor is someone who can actually walk you through those steps. She may be able to sit you down and do a mock interview. She pretends to be the boss. You do the interview. She can ask you questions and go back and forth so that you can practice before you go. A mentor might suggest to you what to wear on an interview, or she might help you to achieve other goals in your life. And then lastly, you need a student. And if you're a mama, your student is already in place. And the reason you need this student is because as we have someone pouring into our lives, we need to be pouring into someone else's life. Because we can't just keep it here, because then it just dies in us. We need to pour out our lives into someone else. And when you mentor your child, you will strengthen your relationship. You will help him or her to be a better person in society. And you will give them a hope for a promising future. Each of us has the potential to thrive in this world, but none of us can do it alone. We need help from community, and that is all of you here. And together, there is no telling what we can do. The sky's the limit. Bless you.